Hey there, marijuana traders and investors. It is Saturday, December 19th, and welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth. It's Rod with Pow Group. And in today's video, we're going to discuss potential rumors, additional rumors of some more Canadian LPs potentially in talks of merging, and that has to do with Canopy and Sundial. So the rumor is floating around, and this comes in wake of the Aphria and Tilray merger. And we highlighted this in a video yesterday as well to be on the lookout for this. So before we jump into today's content, if you could hit the like and subscribe to the channel, it shows me some support. So stick around and we'll jump right into the video here in just a second. All right, welcome back. So we'll jump right into today's content. So first we'll bring up the article, and I do want to just backtrack a little bit here. So obviously the Aphria and Tilray merger, creating a huge cannabis giant, is going to create more competition in the space. And like we highlighted in a BNN Bloomberg, it's game on in the cannabis industry. And personally, I think Aphria and Tilray merged to completely dominate the US. So that was part of their strategy, was to relocate their headquarters to the US once federally permissible in the US. So they're getting ahead of the curve, so to speak. Tilray also has a lot of assets in Europe and Aphria as well. So the two combining forces definitely seems to jive well for both parties. And we mentioned, like I said last week, I guess yesterday it was, that BNN Bloomberg said to be on the lookout. I said, be on the lookout for potential headlines. The phone is ringing off the hook, said one cannabis producer CEO who declined to be named given the discussion with the bankers are still preliminary. So I said, make sure to keep an eye out. I said, I didn't think it was HEXO because HEXO has reiterated time and time again that they weren't looking to merge with anyone. They were looking to potentially do JVs, so joint ventures with, other companies, Fortune 500 companies. Maybe they get a bigger stake in Molson Coors. I didn't think it was them. And I didn't think it was Canopy either, because I said it could have been Sundial, it could have been Aurora, it could have been a number of other different LPs. I didn't expect Canopy, but we knew to be on the lookout for potential merger and M&A activity, and it's game on in the cannabis industry. And then sure enough, we came out with we just received reports here yesterday of IssueWire reporting Sundial Growers and Canopy Growth in merger talks following Tilray and Aphria. So establishes Sundial Growers as key player in the cannabis commerce space and adds significant strength to scale to Canopy Growth business. Combination furthers Sundial Growers to provide the single best cannabis experience in the industry. So according to reports submitted to us, cited sources familiar with the matter, Sundial Growers and Canopy Growth Corporation are in talks to merge following the recent Tilray and Aphria merger. An announcement on such a deal could come as soon as this week, said sources. If the merger speculation is accurate and the deal is agreed, the newly created entity would also be better poised than rivals to take advantage of business opportunities overseas. Both companies have relatively strong international operations that could be leveraged in and when the legalization trend spreads abroad, particularly in the USA. So again, more companies starting to focus on their strategic, international expansion. And we're seeing that with HEXO as well, ramping up with CBD drinks in Colorado through its Molson Coors partnership. And we're seeing that through Aphria and Tilray, and it's just going to continue. And I don't expect this trend to go away anytime soon. Cannabis M&A deals have swept across the industry in the last 2 years. Should this deal close, it would merge two of the largest players in Canada into a massive marijuana juggernaut with a combined market cap of $3.3 billion. This month, the U.S. House of Representatives voted to pass the MORE Act, which would remove marijuana from the list of controlled substances. The bill would decriminalize cannabis at the federal level and let states make their own laws. The bill, however, faces little chance in the Senate, and some lawyers and pot companies have said decriminalization wouldn't necessarily help the legal marijuana business. So keep in mind, we do have the Senate runoff in the first week of January as well. So there's a couple Senate seats up for grabs. If those do get taken by the Democrats, then obviously that's going to bode well for the cannabis bulls and potential legalization under a Biden administration. So the bill, however, Actually, I already read that. New Jersey, Arizona, Montana, and South Dakota on election day approved ballot measures to legalize recreational marijuana. We already knew that. South Dakotans and Mississippi voters also backed some degree of medical use. 2 runoff elections next month in Georgia will determine the balance of the Senate. So again, that's on January 5th, and how much advantage the Democrats will have in passing the Cannabis Reform Act. We've made it our mission to simplify complex financial information. So pretty interesting. I didn't think we would get this information this soon, but let's just take a look at Canopy. So we'll see where Canopy is in terms of the technicals on the chart. So on the month, looks like we're in a inside bar on this monthly chart, but we are in a monthly uptrend. So this is the first time that Canopy has been in a monthly uptrend since its all-time high. I've been reiterating this to the members in the group and online time and time again, that we are now above EMA 12 and 26 on the monthly. Again, the first time since all-time highs, a notable momentum shift and a monthly uptrend. You need to be on the lookout for dips, because these are the times where you want to be buying dips. Again, this isn't financial advice. This is just for entertainment purposes only, and theoretical and education purposes. But again, we could potentially see a huge momentum shift, EMA 12 crossing through 26 potentially. If we look at the weekly trend, we're in a weekly uptrend. We're just scouting a weekly higher low. So we had the first weekly consolidation since all the way back in September at the low of 1383. Since then, we have run over 110%. So much needed weekly consolidation at this point, and it could be a buying opportunity. Like I mentioned in my video, my daily market recap video from yesterday, this could still be a weekly bull flag. And coming off this Sundial news, it could very well follow through next week. So we need to change the daily trend back to the bulls. So we did lose the daily uptrend. So we need to hold this support here and form a higher low. We are forming a higher low here on the daily. So if we can hold the $25 level, set a higher low compared to $25, and then break to higher highs, then we can be confident that the weekly higher low is set and potential for a weekly bull flag. So that's where we stand on Canopy. Again, when you're in monthly uptrends, weekly uptrends, you need to be scouting entries. So you can see here from $9, we had 9 to 22, higher low at 1383 into a higher high, and now we're just scouting a higher low. So we could potentially hit that off EMA 12, but given the news that just came out, this could create a lot of speculation and buying pressure into next week. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some strength into Monday and we don't test EMA 12 at all. But we'll continue to monitor that into next week. So taking a look at Sundial, Sundial's been consolidating on the daily time frame. It's been consolidating, I believe, on the weekly time frame as well. Yes, it has been. So again, just healthy weekly consolidation. We do have EMA 12 there as a potential bounce at 38.5 cents as well. So again, will we test that? It's hard to say. If we see SPY consolidate and the overall broader market, so let's say the S&P 500 and the tech sector start to consolidate next week and we see weekly consolidation there, it's entirely possible that we see it further consolidation on Sundial and Canopy and the overall MJ space. But it is possible for it to do its own thing as well, as we have seen a lot of momentum. But again, we are in weekly consolidation mode. So we need to change the trend, the daily trend back to the bulls to be confident that the weekly higher low is set. We did have EMA 12 looking to potentially cross bearish through EMA 26 here on the daily chart. But again, it's a possibility that we don't see that follow through given the hype, and I expect Sundial to get the most of the move. So when Tilray and Aphria merged, I expected Tilray to get the majority of the gains and the benefits in the short term because of them keeping the Tilray name following the merger. And it just, the structure of the deal definitely stood to benefit more for the Tilray bulls. And in this instance, because Canopy is a huge, huge company and leader in the space, and Sundial is far from it, I expect Sundial to be up exponentially on Monday. So I could see 10 to 20% for Sundial into Monday. Again, it's really going to depend on whether or not SPY rolls over and we see some weakness into the beginning of the week. And it's really going to depend on stimulus as well. But taking a look at CGC, We're well above the 10-week moving average here, which is at 23.80. So a lot of support in the $23, $24 range. And we had the stochastic crossing bearish to end the week, which was a little bit of a red flag, but the MACD still bullish, is looking to cross here bearish, but we'll see if bulls will buy the dip and get follow through on this weekly bull flag. But as long as we remain above 23.80 on the weekly, that is extremely bullish. Taking a look at the weekly moving averages. So we did top out at the 100-day week, or sorry, the 100 weekly moving average, and we did close just below it. So we closed at 25.97. The 100 weekly moving average is at 26.19. So a little bit of a red flag there, but again, could just be a weekly bull flag and a buying opportunity. We also have the 200 weekly moving average down at 23.83. So again, a lot of support in that 23.24 area. So that's where we stand in terms of moving averages. Let's take a look at the daily moving averages. So we're well above the 50, 100, and the 200. Again, 50 down at 23, so a lot of support and confluence there in that level. Let's take a look at SNDL on the weekly, see if we see any red flags. So again, just consolidating on the weekly. Stochastic and the MACD are still bullish, but stochastic was looking to cross bearish there. But as long as we maintain levels above 33 cents, that is extremely bullish. And taking a look at the weekly moving averages, we did top out at the 50 weekly moving average at 77 cents. So that would have been a nice area to take profit. And like I said, just scouting that weekly higher low. And we'll take a look at, they don't have anything defined for the 100 or the 200 based on the short trading history. But let's go to the daily moving averages. We did break above the 200 and pulled back in a significant way. We do have the 50 crossing through the 100, looking to cross through the 100 here. So that can be a short-term positive indicator. If we were to cross the 50 through the 200 eventually, that would be a golden cross and would also be extremely bullish. We had MACD trending bearish on SNDL there into the end of the day yesterday. But again, based on this huge news, it's just speculation at this point. I certainly wouldn't be, going all in or anything based on this news. We need to see, just like Aphria and Tilray, we need to see the actual confirmation from both companies. And one thing that I will say is that when Aphria and Tilray were in talks about merging, their talks were very detailed, and the articles that were being released were very detailed in the specifics of how the deal would be structured. We haven't really seen any specifics yet on the Sundial and Canopy, so that leads me to believe that this is still very, very preliminary, and a lot could fall through and may not even come to fruition. So just make sure that you are taking this with a grain of salt, that it could change. Nothing is concrete until we hear from both companies. So with that, personally, I'm just going to be sitting on the sidelines into Monday. We'll see how this shakes out, and it could be a potential buy the rumor, sell the news. But that's what happened with Aphria. Aphria essentially gave everything all back, and then Tilray held most of the gain. So I could see a similar situation where Canopy, kind of pumps and dumps, and then we see Sundial with a huge move, and more than likely will retain those gains a lot better than Canopy. But that's my opinion. Let me know in the comments below if you think this is bullish or bearish for Sundial and Canopy. Let me know if you think the merger is actually going to go through. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks again for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth. I hope everyone has a great and relaxing weekend, and we shall see you Monday at some point, definitely for a market recap after market close. So once again, thanks again for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth, and we'll see you next week.